What do you think of when you hear the word marijuana? Do you think of the stoners in the 1970s, the drug busts that have been in the news, or maybe reminisce on if and when you tried it for the first time? People think of many things on the topic, and one thought that is pretty popular today is the legalization of recreational marijuana. According to a recent poll we conducted on Facebook, 77% of the 315 responses would support making marijuana federally legal. Recreational marijuana should be federally legalized because it's not as harmful as so many people make it out to be. It boosts the economy, creating tons of revenue, and it would even solve law enforcement issues. Marijuana is made up of dried flowers and leaves of the cannabis sativa plant and has many nicknames such as Mary Jane, pot, and weed. The chemical that gives people the high feeling is known as delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. Marijuana has been around for a very long time, but didn't come to the U.S. until the 20th century, writes Deborah White of ThoughtCo.com. The National Institute on Drug Abuse, or NIDA website, explains how marijuana can be smoked many different ways. The drug can be smoked through pipes, vaporizers, bongs, joints, and blunts. People are also known to use the THC oil in food and ingest it. NIDA also explains that smoking marijuana can have some short-term side effects, such as altered senses, mood swings, and difficulty with thinking. People are known to have an increased heart rate while high as well. The drug alters the mind, so there is a concern for long-term side effects and brain damage on a developing brain. Matt Ferner wrote an article in the Huffington Post and describes how marijuana is considered the least dangerous drug, even though people argue it to be a gateway drug. This statement is thought to be directed towards young people who are unemployed and subjected to severe mental stress. Users have the potential to become addicted, but marijuana doesn't have the same addictive properties like tobacco, heroin, alcohol, or even caffeine. It is also important to remember that many psychological factors play into addictions, not just the drug itself. This diagram from Ferner's article shows the toxic dose risk level of different drugs. As you can see, marijuana is the lowest risk for overdose. There are many reasons why marijuana is better than alcohol, but most importantly, it doesn't harm your liver, and an overdose is extremely difficult. There are no known deaths due to smoking marijuana, whereas excessive drinking leads to thousands and thousands of deaths each year, according to the Business Insider website. Smoking marijuana is known to have quite a bit of medicinal benefits as well. It's been shown to slow and stop the growth and distribution of cancer cells. The American Association of Cancer Research discovered that it works to slow down the growth of tumors in the brain, breast, and lungs. It can also prevent Alzheimer's disease. THC slows the growth of amyloid plaques by blocking the enzymes that create them. These plaques kill brain cells and can potentially lead to this awful disease. People who smoke marijuana can have arthritis relief and control of epileptic seizures. Smoking the drug also reduces joint and back pain, reduces anxiety, as well as easing something as serious as multiple sclerosis symptoms. These are just a few of the many medical benefits described on lifehack.org. Over the recent years, numerous studies have been conducted to prove the positive impact of legalizing marijuana. In a world that has evolved a great deal over the last 20 years, marijuana has been a growing industry that is still increasing rapidly. According to an article by Christopher Ingram from the Washington Post website, in 2015, more than 18,000 new full-time jobs were created in Colorado. This produced $2.4 billion in economic activity. Now, to the naked eye, this might seem like reason enough to legalize marijuana. However, a new report from the cannabis analysis firm New Frontier projected the revenue to be an upwards of $105 billion between 2017 and 2025. A 15% sales tax was included in those projections. Everyday professionals play a large role in the growth of the industry. Prior to now, there was no true evidence supporting the fact that legalizing the use of cannabis would benefit the economy. There was also no evidence showing how it would shift the supply from black market suppliers. However, Ingram indicated that the Marijuana Policy Group expects that by 2020, more than 90% of the cannabis market would be supplied and regulated by state licensed dealers. In addition to creating jobs, the government would also see an enormous increase in revenue. Sources such as Forbes and the Washington Post both argue that marijuana taxes will surpass those of cigarettes and alcohol by the year 2020. In 2015, Colorado alone saw a $121 billion increase in revenue from marijuana. However, viewers of 9 News had questions about when tax is collected and how it is being distributed to the programs as promised. Reporter Brandon Ritterman did a breakdown on one bag of marijuana to help explain where these funds are going. One $30 bag has several different taxes that you'll pay. These include regular sales tax, local and government tax, and of course wholesale tax. For each $30 bag, which is 1/8 ounce of marijuana a company sells, the said company has to pay the state a wholesale tax. So in just that one bag, the state collects $2.13 in wholesale tax. By the end of the transaction, the customer pays $8.48 in taxes. Overall, the state collected $10.3 billion in taxes for the general fund. Only 1.3% of that was generated by the sales of marijuana. Brandon had an awesome analogy that stated, if you had a raise of 1.3%, it wouldn't lead you to purchasing a new home, but you would be able to do minor renovations to the one that you already have. Taxes from marijuana have helped school programs such as the BEST program, 4-H and FFA, and some money has even gone to local governments. Law enforcement officers have a tough job as it is, but even in states where marijuana is legal, still being federally illegal causes many headaches for police. I spoke with Patrick Fleming, a corporal with over 25 years experience from the Pueblo Police Department in Pueblo, Colorado. He talked about many problems and crimes that have increased since it became legal. In his professional opinion, these problems would decrease if it was made federally legal. Corporal Fleming said that the amount of homeless has increased significantly. He stated that people come from all over to use marijuana legally, but can't get a job because they can't pass a drug test. Robberies and thefts have also increased because marijuana shops have to do all cash transactions due to federal banking laws. Corporal Fleming also noted that dealing in all cash makes money laundering a lot easier. These crimes would decrease if marijuana shops could use banks and credit card machines just like any other business. Another area that became an issue for law enforcement, according to Corporal Fleming, is the transportation of marijuana. Since it is still federally illegal, it cannot be brought out of the legal state. People have been caught driving across state lines, on airplanes, and even mailing it. If it was made federally legal, this problem would drastically decrease as well. The states of Washington and Colorado both passed legislation to make the use of recreational marijuana legal at the end of 2012. These states have created a base for regulating marijuana use. Per the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board and the State of Colorado websites, it is treated very similar to alcohol. The person must be 21 years old to purchase and possess marijuana, only allowed to purchase 1 ounce at a time, and open containers of marijuana are prohibited in a vehicle. There is also a legal limit of 5 nanograms of THC per milliliter of blood to prevent impaired people from driving. These states set a good foundation, so it wouldn't take much to make it fully legal. However, one thing that should be better established is the method of testing. Most companies use urine tests to screen their current and future employees. However, according to the Drug and Alcohol Information Support website, marijuana can stay in your system for 7 to 30 days, so urine isn't the most reliable test for toxicology levels. An article written by Barbara Bowden from High Times states that blood tests are the most accurate way to tell intoxication levels of marijuana, so that is the method police use. However, it is flawed. Bowden explained a study that found that it takes almost 3 hours for a blood test to be done at a traffic stop, and that due to the variability of the way THC is absorbed, the blood test may reveal a lower number than what was truly in their system at the point of incident. Bowden also noted that only certified people are allowed to administer the blood test, such as a nurse or paramedic, therefore requiring more personnel per instance. She mentions that a driver can refuse a drug test, but by doing so would get their license automatically suspended. If we can develop a more efficient test, it would help the people, law enforcement, and employers. As you can see, marijuana isn't this horrid drug that it is claimed to be. Marijuana has had a positive impact on the economy in states where it is legal. The government will benefit because of the taxes and jobs that are accumulated, and federally legalizing it will improve crime rates and ease stress on law enforcement. Marijuana isn't as harmful as other drugs, some of which are legal, and has been proven to help those with certain health conditions. Overall, the benefits of legalizing marijuana outweigh the costs of not legalizing it. Thank you.